Introduction to Fire Safety. Introduction. In this module of this course you will learn why fire safety is important, the fire triangle, the types of fires, responsible persons, why fire safety is important. Fires can cause devastating and indiscriminate damage to thousands of UK businesses every year. ONS statistics on non-dwelling building fires. 2013 to 2014, 16,523. 2014 to 2015, 15,560. 2015 to 2016, 16,024. 2016 to 2017, 15,859. 2017 to 2018, 15,577. ONS statistics on non-fatal injuries caused by non-dwelling fires. 2013 to 2014, 924. 2014 to 2015, 888. 2015 to 2016, 1,096. 2016 to 2017, 897. 2017 to 2018, 994. The importance of fire safety. Beyond the destruction of property, severe injuries, and even occasionally lethal fatalities, fire can cause other losses too. Time, downtime waiting for repairs to be finished, phone calls, forms, and other bureaucratic wrangling, dealing with insurance, staff time redirected towards locating replacement stock, and so much else. Customer goodwill. The sympathy and goodwill of your customers have limits. They put in orders and they still want returns on their money. Fires cause delays and losses that customers rarely forgive or forget. Resources, stock, equipment, records, data, and much more besides. All kinds of resources that can make the work of a business functionally possible. When it's gone, it often cannot be replaced. Many businesses simply will not ever recover following a fire. The fire triangle. For a fire to start, it needs all three of the following things to be present in sufficient supply. Fuel, a flammable chemical, be it solid, liquid, or gas. Oxygen, the chemical that makes up 20% of the standard atmosphere, with more emerging from oxidizing substances. Ignition, a high-level concentrated heat source. Potentially dangerous ignition sources. Flammable substances and oxygen interact all the time, but with ignition, they become dangerous. Ignition sources range from the obvious to the ignored and can include naked flames, candles, gas cookers, lamps or lanterns. Embers or ash, fireplace remains, discarded cigarettes. Electrical equipment, especially if it is faulty. Overheating and sparking are common in faulty electronics. Static electricity. Friction in equipment, loose bearings or insufficiently lubricated joints in machinery. Potentially dangerous fuel sources. Any flammable substance that could potentially keep a fire going is considered a fuel. Some examples include paper and cardboard. Plastics, the thinner the individual pieces, often the more flammable they become. Wood of all kinds, including composites such as chipboard, balsa wood, and MDF. Fabrics, Very few fabrics are flame retardant, and they are labelled as such. Rubber, foam, flammable liquids, paints, varnishes, flammable gases, natural gas, petrol vapors, aerosol products, air freshener, deodorant, or antiperspirant. Potentially dangerous oxygen sources. Oxygen, or O2, is a gas that makes up 1/5 of our air and so is around us all the time. Obviously, this in itself is not dangerous, but it is also not the only source of O2. In the wrong place, at the wrong time, additional O2 could be the cause of a very dangerous fire safety risk. Other O2 sources include oxidizing substances. Some examples include nitric acid, found in many household cleaners, hydrogen peroxide, found in many hair bleaches, chlorine compounds, often found in swimming pools, ammonium nitrate, often found in fertilizers and industrial explosives, oxygen canisters, often used in medical situations or for divers or in certain industrial settings. Pyrotechnical systems. Oxygen is the least controllable of the three portions of the fire triangle. Fuel and ignition are the most vital ones to watch. The types of fires. While all fires share certain obvious similarities, there are some important underlying differences that, if properly understood, means that it's possible to turn a potential inferno into just a spark in the bin. The 6 types of fires are as follows. Class A. Fires that use non-metallic solid materials as fuel. Class B. Fires fueled by non-oil or fat liquids. Class C. Fires involving ignited gaseous chemicals. Class D. Fires involving metals. Class F. Fires involving cooking oil and fatty byproducts. Electrical fires. Class A fires. Class A fires are perhaps the most common because they involve the most basic combustible materials. They are solid materials and usually have some kind of organic background. Fuels of Class A fires include wood, building structural elements usually, paper and cardboard, stationery and other office materials, cotton or polyester and other fabrics. Main hazards for this are curtains, carpets, clothing, furniture coverings, plastics, coal. Class B fires. Class B fires involve flammable liquids of some kind. Although many kinds of liquid are theoretically flammable, the ones to take particular care of are those that have ignition temperatures below 100 degrees Celsius. These are the central focus of safety concerns of potential Class B fires. These liquids include industrial cleaning chemicals, paint, varnishes, petroleum products, alcohol. Note, some of these liquids also produce gaseous byproducts when in open containers, so their risk factor increases dramatically. Class C fires. Class C fires are caused following the igniting of flammable gases. These are possibly the single most dangerous kind of fire because of their potential to explode. Among the most common examples of these are propane, butane, hydrogen, methane, aerosols. In case of a Class C fire, the first thing to do is to locate the source of the fuel, a gas canister or pipe or can or something else. Eliminate or contain it and then begin fighting the remaining fire. Class C. Contain the source first. Class D fires. Class D fires involve solid metal fuels, or metal filings or powder. Some examples of potentially dangerous metal fire hazards include magnesium, lithium, sodium, potassium, titanium, aluminium. Class D fires. It's vital to know which of these or any other metals is involved in a fire. For example, lithium, sodium, and potassium all react explosively to water, so chemical extinguishers will be needed there. Explosions or other results of other incorrect approaches to these kinds of fires can result in the fire spreading further, faster, and becoming more out of control. Electrical fires. These are fires caused by incorrectly functioning electronic equipment. These can include plugs or extension leads bearing too much power load, equipment short-circuiting causing spark discharges, overheating or faulty or incorrectly installed or misused equipment, broken or damaged or poorly aged wiring or cables, equipment that has not been repaired or maintained correctly. When dealing with electrical fires, the first step is always to isolate the power supply. Failing to do this could restart the fire. Because electrical fires are to do with ignition, not fuel, they are not a class like the others. Class F fires. These fires are caused when fuels such as cooking oil and fatty byproducts and so on are burned at very high temperatures, usually in kitchens. Examples of potential sources include lard, butter, vegetable oils, sunflower oil, oil, maize oil. Class F fires. Normal fire extinguishers will be ineffective in dealing with these kinds of fires for two main reasons. The fire that's burning is at a much higher temperature than most others. The source is liquid, so attacking it with water will merely displace rather than extinguish the fire. Because these fires are often caused in frying pans or deep-fat fryers, they are often combated better with fire blankets than fire extinguishers. These are fabrics coated with a flame retardant covering. Draping them over the pan starves the fire of oxygen and extinguishes it. If your workplace has a large kitchen, these would potentially be wise additions to fire extinguishers. Responsible persons. The first responsible person. In England and Wales, fire safety must be dealt with by the responsible person. This person is defined as potentially being a employer, owner, manager, occupier, of any and of all the following: businesses, buildings, spaces. That is used for anything other than domestic or dwelling purposes. This responsible person is ultimately the one who must ensure that all guests, customers, visitors, employees are properly protected by risk reductions and evacuation procedures. Areas with the first responsible person. A first responsible person will need to be designated for all of the following types of places: offices, shops, factories, warehouses. Extra care may need to be taken depending on what is stored here. Hospitals, schools, pubs or bars. Cafes or restaurants. Temples or churches or mosques or synagogues or mandir or any other worship center. Community centers. Sports facilities. Shared accommodation centers, for example, student housing, refugee centers. Hostels or hotels. Tents or marquees or other temporary structures. Rented properties. As part of their responsibilities, the first responsible person must appoint a group of competent individuals to be the second group of responsible people, also known as fire wardens. A fire warden's responsibilities are based around fire prevention and fire procedures. Prevention risk. Fire wardens must identify potential risks present in the work environment. They then need to classify if these are low, medium, or high risks, determine what aspects make that risk fit that category, and then report this to the first responsible person. Prevention routes. Fire wardens must inform everyone of the proper exits and routes to use in the event of a fire. They need to keep said routes clearly accessible and clearly labelled. Prevention. Readiness. Fire wardens need to be fully trained on how to use fire extinguishers, how to activate emergency lighting, and be aware of any other fire or other emergency equipment in the building. Prevention readjustment. Fire wardens need to stay up to date with any and all changes in the law and changes to the building. If these changes make previous fire procedures obsolete or unsafe, the fire wardens need to readjust existing plans accordingly. First responsible person duties. In a quick summary, here are the distinct responsibilities of the first and second responsible persons, that is, the employers and the wardens. Employer duties. Keeping fire safety equipment, alarms, hoses, emergency lights, and so on in good working order. Creating a fire plan and organising evacuation procedures. Providing all staff with fire safety training. Advising all staff of potential fire safety risks. Keeping a fire risk assessment up to date. Have the procedures for fire safety properly recorded for inspection and safety purposes. Note, the last point there only applies if your business employs 5 or more people. You need a license to operate your business, pub or entertainment venues, and so on. An alteration notice requiring recording is in force. Warden duties. Updating and developing fire evacuation procedures and emergency plans. Monitoring the upkeep and operation of all fire safety equipment. Arrange fire drills and fire risk assessments. Assess the results of each afterwards. Monitor the workspace for potential fire risks. Assist in the event of a fire by helping during evacuations or potentially fighting the fire directly. Employee duties. Employees have responsibilities for their own fire safety also. These are as follows. Familiarising themselves with the fire exits. Obeying the instructions of fire wardens in the event of an emergency. Participate fully in all fire drills. Informing the first or second responsible person of any issues that could prevent them from exiting safely in the event of an emergency. Attend training where it is offered or arrange follow-up training if it cannot be received at the time. Summary. What we have learned. A sweeping overview of fire safety and the importance of it. Fire causes indiscriminate and devastating damage to thousands of UK businesses every year. A source of ignition, fuel, and oxygen. These 3 are essential elements for a fire to start. Every workplace should have a responsible person who will make sure that fire safety measures are in place and will remain active at all times. Familiarize yourself with various types of fires and learn the techniques of dealing with these fires.